In this social class, we are going to learn about Advent of Europeans, which is the first chapter in history in class 8. Advent of Europeans means the arrival of Europeans. The introduction they have given: foreign traders, missionaries and civil servants, they came to India in 18th and 19th century. They left some accounts of their experiences, ideas, feelings and opinion when they travelled to various parts of the country. Next, they have given about the sources of modern India. In this paragraph, they say the information they left helps us to know about the country's political, socio-economic and cultural development. The official transactions of Portuguese, Dutch, French, Dane and English in India are recorded on state papers. From this, we know about their relation in India. The storehouses gave historical informations. The best example would be the archive at Lisbon, Goa, Pondicherry and Madras. Archive, it is a place where historical documents are kept. Then we come to the kinds of sources. There are two kinds of sources: written sources and material sources. Written sources are those which are in the form of written text, and material sources are sources of content that was gathered from materials. For some examples of written sources, we can say literature, travelers' accounts, autobiographies, etc. And for material sources, we can say paintings, statues, coins. In the next paragraph, they have given about the written sources. So the arrival of this printing press, it helped in publishing numerous books in different languages. So people gain knowledge from these books in various fields, that is art, literature, history and science. So what was the reason for the arrival of Europeans to India? The wealth of the India attracted the Europeans. They got the information of India's wealth from the account of Marco Polo. Ananda Rangam was a person who made magic in the historical records of Tamil history. He was a translator in Pondicherry. He was working under French to help French trade in India. He had a great knowledge in political judgment. And in the next paragraph, they have given about archives. So before I said archives is a place where historical documents are preserved. The famous archive is National Archives in India. The father of National Archives of India is George William Forrest. So a small account of this National Archives of India. It is located in New Delhi and it is one of the largest archives in India. The records, government records are kept here. We get information about the administrative, missionary and guide for the future India. They contain the evidence for the life and activities of modern people in all aspects. Next, they have given about the Tamil Nadu archives. At first, it was called as Madras Record Office and later it was changed to Tamil Nadu Archives. It is located in Chennai and it is the oldest and largest storehouse in South India. It contains administrative records of Dutch, Danish, Persia and Marathi. The language in which most of the records were written is in English. A new chapter in the history of Tamil Nadu Archives was opened by Dodwell. Next, they have given about the material sources. The main material sources of modern Indian history is painting and statues. From this painting and statue, we come to know about the achievements of national leaders and historical personalities. We can find different styles and techniques. This we can see in St. Francis Church at Cochin and St. George Fort in Madras and India Gate. So many are there. Materials which are collected are preserved in museums. The National Museum in Delhi is the largest museum. The next material source we are going to see is coin. From coins, we get the information about the administration of a country. The first coin in modern India was issued in the year 1832. Reserve Bank of India. It was set up in the year 1935. The short form of Reserve Bank of India is RBI. The Indian notes were issued by RBI. They were given the powers to issue the notes. The first paper currency was 5 rupees note, which was issued by the RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India. That note had the portrait or the picture of the King George VI. And in the next para, they had given about the advent of Europeans. Why did the Europeans discover a sea route to India? When the Turks captured Constantinople, the land route between India and Europe was closed. This made European nations to discover new sea route to India. Among the Europeans, Portugal was the first to discover sea route to India. Prince Henry encouraged his countrymen to travel to unknown regions of the world. So he was known as a navigator. Now we will see about Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama was a Portuguese sailor. He reached Calicut in the year 1498 AD. King Zumerian was the ruler of Calicut at that period. Vasco da Gama with 20 ships came to India for the second time. At that time, trading center was formed at Kannur. Factories were established at Calicut and Cochin. King Zumerian, who was the ruler, got worried about the development of the Portuguese and he attacked the Portuguese, but he was defeated. The first capital of Portuguese East India Company was Cochin. On his third trip in the year 1524, he became ill and died in Cochin. The next Portuguese traveller was Francisco de Almeida. He was the first governor for Portuguese possessions in India. His aim was to develop the naval power of the Portuguese in India. His policy was blue water policy. Arabs had the control on Indian oceans. Portuguese, they tried to break the control. So Egypt, Turks, Sultan of Bijapur and Gujarat, they worried about the expansions of Portuguese control of the ports. So there was a battle and the Muslim fleet won the war. But Almeida's son was killed in the battle. So Francisco de Almeida, he defeated the combined Muslim fleet. In this, Portuguese claimed supremacy in Asia. The next Portuguese traveller we are going to see is Alfonso de Albuquerque. He was the real founder of the Portuguese power in India. He captured Goa from Sultan of Bijapur. He encouraged marriage of Portuguese with Indian women. He had a friendly relationship with Vijayanagar Empire. The next Portuguese traveller who came to India is Nino de Cunha. He changed the capital to Goa in the year 1530. He occupied Diu and Dama in the year 1537 and Salcete in the year 1548. By the 16th century, Portuguese enjoyed good trade benefits by capturing Goa, Daman, Diu, Salcete, Basin, Chaul and Bombay on the western coast and Hooghly in the Bengal coast and Santhome in Madras coast. So what was the changes that happened by the Portuguese arrival to India? That is cultivation of tobacco, the spread of Catholic religion, printing press was set up. In the 17th century, the arrival of Dutch made Portuguese to decline. In this class, we have seen about the advent of Portuguese. We will continue with the other European nations in the next class.